You fool! Warren is dead. Welcome to HorrorBabble, and a Merry Christmas to all. It's Christmas Eve, and we have a little original in store for you. We had some snow over here a few weeks ago, and with it came the idea for a bit of flash fiction, The Snow Spirit. It's dedicated to horror babblers everywhere. We hope you enjoy it. The Snow Spirit by Ian Gordon. 3 times the Snow Spirit came to my door. I'd found myself caught in the grip of a storm out on the moors after sundown. It was Christmas Eve. Trudged through the snow as it silently fell, coating the valleys and the interminable hills. But the snow was a blessing in the slightest of ways, for though it made progress painfully slow, it illuminated the moors about me, so that it was with diminished effort that I found myself within striking distance of a lonely shack, an isolated hut that would serve as a welcome shelter from the elements. Within it was bare, possessing just a handful of logs for the open fire. Had matches on my person, a pitiful few, but in the sanctuary of the shack, I felt as a man saved. This was to be my salvation. Found an old mattress, made it my bed, there by the fire that I'd built with my trembling hands. Kindling, too, was in short supply, but the planets must have been aligned, it appeared, for the logs were quickly engulfed by the ravenous flames. I gazed at the fire, counted my blessings. I might, after all, survive. But before very long, the flames began to die down, and the crackle that had disguised the chatter of the night faded to silence, so that all I could hear was the sound of without, the scream of the wind, the roar of the storm. And out of the storm came a voice to my door, the weird whisper of the Snow Spirit, brought to life by my weakness. Listen, it began, enticing to my anguish. Your life it is forfeit. You won't last the night. Abandon the embers. Turn yourself over to me. I stopped my ears. I shook my head, turned to the embers and sought kindling instead. Up sprang the flames, begging for fuel. A log there I placed, and dissuaded by my conviction, the Snow Spirit retreated. And as the spirit withdrew, the crackle returned, that wonderful sound, the feast of the fire, a gift to rejoice. Merry was I, for the nonce I was rosy. How many hours till dawn, I wondered, and glanced at the logs, their number so few. What time it was I couldn't discern, but late it must be, so black was the night. The storm had subsided, but the temperature had plummeted. Icy grew the snowscape without. But as a consequence of the deathly cold, the fire once more began to die down. Its bite ceased to sound, and then all I could hear, the calm of the moor, and a voice at the door. Listen, it began, tantalizingly sincere. Your life it is forfeit. You won't last the night. Abandon the embers. Turn yourself over to me. But it wasn't to be. Had no desire to flee in the lee of the beast. No, the beast that was spawned out of the fear of demise. I, so cold, so helpless, lost, and far from home. And again I turned to the embers that had all but expired, lit another match, brought new kindling to the fire, and up they shot, those flames born again, those fiery faces, the faces of friends, dancing, devouring, feeding my fortitude. Faith was restored, and the Snow Spirit no more, for the time being. And the hours ticked by, the cold intensified. Just before dawn, when sleep sought to take me, the fire once again began to die down, and the spirit came back, one final attack. It rapped at my door till it burst open wide. The chill of the night, it tickled my spine. But I refused to look away from the embers, clung to those cinders like a child to its mother. "Listen!" cried the snow spirit, in a voice so familiar. "Your life it is forfeit. You won't last the night. Abandon the embers. Turn yourself over to me." But my will had grown weak, turned to look at my pursuer, caught a glimpse of its face. Though dim in the doorway, it was hard for me to place. Still, I couldn't deny it. The recognition was strong. I knew that dark figure, had known it for years. The face in the mirror when all is unwell. The one who must sneer when I'm weak and afraid. The one who must mock when the game it is played. The game of life, its ups and downs. At the door was the monster that lives to wear me out. But it wasn't to be. I was no longer afraid. Turned my back to that shameful face. Stared at the embers, willed them to live again, thrust the last of the kindling onto all that remained. And as the flames leapt to life, I heard the snow spirit scream, cast into darkness with the coming of the dawn. 3 times the snow spirit came to my door. 3 times I denied it. Now I'll see it no more. If you enjoyed listening today, be sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting the red subscribe button below. After doing so, click the bell icon next to the subscribe button to receive new content notifications. If you'd like to support our work and receive exclusive perks, consider becoming a channel member by clicking the join button below. To support us in other ways, see the video description for links to our Bandcamp and Patreon pages, our merch store over at Teespring, and further information relating to our releases on Audible, iTunes, and Spotify. And until next time,